Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to Curriculum Week. Today is day three of Curriculum Week, where I am talking about my daughter's curriculum. So she will be going into the second grade next year. She is about to turn 7, like she's going to turn 7 next week. So she will be a young 7-year-old come fall. And so in my head, I tend to think of her a little bit as straddling 2 grades. We started her young. We probably could have held off a whole nother year before starting her with homeschool. So I'd say she's like second grade, first grade kind of combo. But I am so excited for all the things I have planned for her next year. I did just recently go through a recap of her first grade year. So if you're curious kind of where she's at academically, go check out that video. I go way more in detail. But these are the curriculum choices I have made for her for this upcoming school year, which is 2022-2023 homeschool year. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. So like I said, it is curriculum week and today's video is about my second grader. So we're going to be talking all about her individual subjects. So I'm talking here math, language arts, some handicrafts. I'll put that kind of at the end of the video. I talked a lot about our family subjects or together school for my 2 big kids, my second grader and my third grader, on Monday. So go check that video out if you're at all interested in what we are doing for history and science and art and all those things for my 2 big kids. But today's video is just her individual subjects. So let me start with math. So for my daughter, we are doing Saxon math again. It just really has worked well for my family, and it's been working really well for my daughter. And so she's going to be moving into math 2. So I have here the teacher's guide, which I'll flip through a little bit, as well as the student workbook pages and the flashcards. So this comes in a kit every year, and I am really satisfied with Saxon math so far. I feel like it does a really thorough job of teaching math. I mean, it's definitely not colorful, as you can see, it's not splashy, but I feel like it does a really good job and it teaches some really good techniques, especially for learning the math facts. Granted, we've only pretty much gone through addition and subtraction in these years that I've been using, but I've really enjoyed it and my daughter is doing really well with it. So we're just moving on with Saxon math. Okay, so the other thing I kind of lump into our math time, even though it's not really math, I just kind of associate logic with math. And for my daughter, I will be using this book. And so this is the Mind Benders from the Critical Thinking Company. I'm using grade 1 and 2 for her. And I have always used logic in our homeschool. I love logic. I think it's so good for their brains. And honestly, my kids love doing it. It feels like puzzles and games to them. And Mind Benders in particular are our favorites. And so she'll be starting up with a grade 1 and 2. And if she needs more, I also picked up the next one for her. I think it's grades 3 to 5 or something like that. But they just really enjoy those. So that's like my all-encompassing math plans. Now to hop into language arts. I mean, you all know language arts is all-encompassing. It's actually kind of challenging to plan, but I feel like I have a really solid plan for my daughter for this year, and it comes in kind of 2 main parts. So let me start with the first part for you. So the first thing for language arts for my daughter, and probably the most important thing for this year, is learning how to read. So I'm going to start with our phonics plans, and our phonics plans are Abeka. So I have Abeka grade 1 here for you. This is the teacher's guide for the whole language arts program for Abeka, but that is not how we use this. At this point, we just use it for the phonics and language and the readers on here. I don't use any of the other subjects, but I have really been impressed with the phonics from Abeka this past year, and my daughter did the K-5 program, so now we're moving her into grade 1. Even though I know this is a second grade curriculum video, I feel like her skill set is more in grade 1, and Abeka is known for being a bit fast, so I'm not at all worried about it. So I had the teacher's manual, but I had to pick up the consumable parts of the curriculum, and that being letters and sounds 1, as well as language 1. And the language 1 goes through grammar, creative writing, as well as reading comprehension. And we don't really use it for the creative writing, and I'll get a little bit into my thoughts on that. And then the letters and sounds is really just kind of a phonics program. And so those are the consumables for the program, but there are a lot of manipulatives and flashcards that are very helpful in this program. And these are the ones I'm showing you here that I have found to be the most useful. And so those being the basic phonics flashcards, And this is actually one binder, but I have two binders full of all these flashcards. I think there's like 134 cards or something like that. They represent the special sounds that Abeka uses to teach its phonics. These are wonderful. I also have these charts, which are for grades 1 through 3. And I like these charts. They're basically the special sounds in chart form. And so the kids can run through them quicker and in different ways. And we can do different games with these. And then the third thing that I use all the time is the clue word cards. And again, these are the special sounds, but it's a different way of learning them. We also have the blend cards as well as the 1 vowel words and the 2 vowel words. So I did end up picking up a lot of the different manipulatives for this program, but I really like it. And this helps the program not feel too boring because it's kind of the same concepts but practiced in a different way, if that makes sense. So I really like the Abeka phonics program. And so that is what we are doing for my daughter for next year. Now, mind you, I went back and forth about still combining Abeka with All About Reading, which I put out a video last year, and I'm planning a follow-up video here in a couple months, maybe sometime this summer, talking a little bit more about how that worked. And I really did contemplate pulling back in All About Reading for my daughter, but I feel like she's responding well to the Abeka program, and so I'm just going to keep it simple. I just want to keep it simple this year for homeschooling, just with the fact that I'm bringing on my twins in a more significant way this year, which wait for tomorrow's video to hear more about that. But I just wanted to simplify. So we're just using Abeka for phonics for my daughter. So that's the first major part of language arts. So to cover the majority of the rest of language arts, I decided to give Sunlight Language Arts another try. So we tried it a little bit last year. I wasn't quite ready for it, but I am excited to jump back into it for both my son and my daughter. So for my daughter, I have Sunlight Language Arts Level 2 planned for her. As you can see here, as I'm flipping through kind of the lesson plans, it has a number of different components involved. It has a spelling component, which this is how we're going to be doing our spelling. I tested out the Sunlight spelling this past spring, and it worked really well for my daughter. So I'm just going to proceed with what Sunlight has for spelling. And then we are also using the readers for Sunlight. And so when it comes to readers, I'm holding this all loosely because I did just show you that I have a bunch of readers from Abeka, which are tied into the phonics program, which I really like, and I think that really helps them out. But I also have a lot of really wonderful readers from Sunlight. And I have both the level 1 readers, which you see here, as well as the level 2 readers. And so I tend to do extra reading in the afternoons, which is my plan for these Sunlight readers. And based on where she ends up this summer, we might be doing these level 1 readers, or we might be doing level 2 readers, which I have here as well. So it really just depends on where she's at. I'm just gonna pick up with the level 1s and then go into the level 2s based on her skills. So I have all of those readers. So we are well stocked in readers for the year. And the other thing about the Sunlight Language Arts that I am super excited about is this creative expression section. And so this is where they do a lot of copywork application, which is like grammar concepts and punctuation and things like that. That's where they kind of learn all those concepts, as well as the creative expression. So this is where kind of the wheels came off the bus last year for me, but I have been doing a lot of reading and researching, and I am really drawn by this natural method for teaching writing, and copywork is very central to that. So I love the fact that Sunlight draws its copywork from its readers most of the time. So it's things that she is reading, and I'm also thinking of bringing in some Brave Writer concepts here with the copywork from Sunlight, because in the Sunlight Language Arts it just has one day of copywork, but I also love how Brave Writer does like French dictation and reverse dictation to kind of work on a little bit of spelling, a little bit of understanding where punctuation is. And so I'm thinking of kind of myself modifying those copywork passages to bring in some of those elements to enrich my ability to teach them some of the mechanics and grammar of language. And then I also plan on kind of using that ideas behind partnership writing and Brave Writer, but with the Sunlight creative expression assignments. And so it's still kind of up in the air exactly how I'm going to do this. As I get into the school year, I might make a video talking a bit more about how I'm using some of those Brave Writer concepts in Sunlight, although Sunlight will be kind of our major backbone for these subjects. So I hope that makes sense, but I'm really excited about that. So those are kind of the two big areas. So Abeka Phonics and then the Sunlight. I do have a couple other areas of language arts that are more independent in nature, And these I need to be independent because I need some time to be able to work with my twins. And so what I have for my daughter is a handwriting program. And so we went back to Denilian. I love Denilian handwriting. I think it's very natural for the kids. I feel like my daughter really excels at using Denilian. So we're going to be finishing up the grade 1 workbook from last year, and then I also picked up the grade 2 workbook, which these are now the 2022 version of Denilian handwriting. It now has color and they're beautiful, but it's still Denilian handwriting, and I think she'll be able to do that in an independent fashion. The other thing I have picked up for her that is more independent is Wordly Wise A, which is scheduled in the language arts for Sunlight. So I love that. So we'll just follow the schedule and she can use that. It is a vocabulary program. I'm super jazzed to pick it up. I think it will be a really good addition to her language arts. And I'm not starting her on typing quite yet. We'll see how she does. We'll see how her brother does. But I'm fine with just sticking her with handwriting because she still has the major task of learning to read this year. So I want to kind of give her the space to do that and not overload her with a lot of other things. So that is language arts. The other thing I have that's more independent, that's just for my daughter, is her handicraft. And now last year she learned finger knitting and she loves it and she still does it. She uses it to make presents for people and things like that. And I thought about doing kind of knitting for her, but she ended up taking a knitting class at her enrichment school and she loves that. She's also taking musical theater at her enrichment school. We're starting her in dance this summer. So I feel like there's a lot of things going on with her. The only other thing that I feel like is more of an enrichment within our homeschool that is not associated with her school is we are going to be trying to do more art, more drawing, and this is kind of driven by nature study. We want to do more nature study, but the kids want to work on their drawing, so we're going to be picking up some artistic pursuits, as well as this program, which I did pick up from The Good and the Beautiful. It's their watercolor around the world template sheets, which I think this comes in grade 5 for The Good and the Beautiful. So this might be a little bit above her, but basically what I like about it is it comes with the templates and then it has like assignments for how to do it. And so I only got one of the sheets for the templates just to see how it goes, because we might try some other ways for teaching watercoloring. I don't know, but that's kind of our tentative handicraft or thing that they can do kind of in the margins, like when I'm working with their little brothers or things like that. So this is what I have for her, as well as she can continue doing finger knitting and things like that. So all in all, it just is a very exciting year. I am really excited for her. I'm excited for her to really pick up the reading. I'm very hopeful that the Abeka program will just continue to help her grow in that way. But really, that's all I have for today's video. I'm excited for her for next year. And if you love curriculum videos, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video, which will end curriculum week. And in that video, I will be talking about my preschoolers, my 4, almost 5-year-olds, and my plans for them. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, have a wonderful day, you guys. All right, take care.